Aries.
We're live. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yep, we are live.
I am definitely alive. I've pinched myself on a regular basis. Ugh. Ow. And we're alive. Facebook Live, Debra Silverman, Thursday, the eve of the full moon is tomorrow afternoon. It's not only a full moon where the sun is opposite the moon. That was the moon. Between Leo and Aquarius, but there's an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, and it only happens lunar eclipse twice this year. The next one will be in August. So we're going to talk about it because when there's an eclipse, you immediately have your awareness come on and go, uh-oh, pay attention. There's more deaths and births. People use eclipses at the psychic spiritual level as markers. And we go, in the olden days, they would go, oh, remember that last eclipse that happened? They don't think in terms of February. They think in terms of there's a full moon opposite the sun and there's an eclipse going on. And just so you know, it's at 22 degrees of Leo. The sun and the moon are at 22 degrees. So 22 degrees Aquarius is the sun, 22 degrees is moon in Aquarius, in Leo, Aquarius, Leo, and this is the conversation today that we're about to engage in, which is what is the psychology of astrology? That is the conversation completely of Aquarius, Leo. Why? Because Aquarius is the part in all of us that loves astrology, that believes in woo-woo, that knows this planet is strange, that knows you're weird, I'm weird, and we're good with it. And we live in Facebook Live where we stick our faces inside of computers and we go into cyberspace, and then we start to actually articulate another world that you believe I'm real. The opposite of Aquarius, that technical, weird, uninhibited, free spirit, is Leo. And they're not about weird. They're about, I really want to reach your approval. I want you to love me. I want you to approve of me. I want you to see my beauty. I want to feel normal. I want nothing more than my family and my security. None of those weird people are coming to my house at the Leo. My mom was a Leo. And she would answer the door when my dad, who was Aquarius rising, would invite these weird people to my house. And then my mom would say, she would literally say to the guy at the door, like he would, we were this Jewish white family, and he would invite over these guys from Detroit who were black, and he loved them. And then my mom would open the door and go, no. Oh my God, that's so Leo. No, you are not coming in my house and you're not having dinner with us. And my dad would be like, what? That was the opposition between the generous, open-minded, colorblind, non-traditional Aquarius versus this is safe, this is my home, this is what I own. And that's the dynamic between Aquarius and Leo. And look at our planet. No, you're not allowed to come into the border. Some people think that Leos that are, I'm not going to go political on you, but the Leo people think that's smart. It's safe to protect your family and to tell who's allowed to come into your home and to draw stick boundaries. That's very Leo. I'm protecting my hub, my little cub, my little nest. And Aquarius is like, what are you talking about? We're all in your family. There is no distinctions in Aquarius. You share your kids, you share your house, you're transgender, you change your rules, you wear the weirdest clothes, you have dinner for breakfast and breakfast for dinner. You change up the game plan, said the Aquarian. Leo goes, no. We said we were doing it this way. My grandmother did it this way. I honor my lineage. Don't tell me what to do. Can you feel the split on the planet right now in this full moon with an eclipse to say to us there's a third position, and that's called the observer. That's my book, The Missing Element. It teaches you how to turn your observer on and look over at yourself and go, how do I look? But not with judgments. Like, yes, I am full, said the Aquarius, of wanting to observe neutrally. My Leo wants to observe with criticism. You should have done this first, and you should look like that, and you should wear this color. And there's an entire agenda and there's nothing wrong with either side. We need to have appropriateness of the Leo. And Aquarius, we need to have the rebel to rewrite that story and to break new land and to open up the world into evolution. But without the Leo conviction, you can't get the rebel. So they're like best friends. Get it? Now, here's the question I have to ask you. Are you willing to take this unbelievable moon that's up today? You can go outside and look. There's, count them, 3 planets in Aries. That's why I'm so wild. With this unbelievable moon in fire in Leo, in Aquarius, in Leo. I was right. And there is this Aquarius consciousness that I'm talking to you about inside of a computer. Aquarius rules computers. It rules technology. It rules spaceships. It rules the future. Can you look over at your cute little ego? And this is what we're going to get into here in a moment as I describe this dynamic of the psychology of astrology. Can you use your ego to be gentle and compassionate and sweet and kind? That would be your Leo. When you look over at your Aquarius that goes, you know what? I don't fit in. I don't belong. I don't understand this planet. I don't understand the politics. I want to go home. And then the Leo goes, no, honey, I love the way you look. I love who you are. In fact, you're mine. So don't worry, I got you. So if we could just give our soul's embrace over to our ego and our ego over to our soul, and they were starting to work as one, the planet would change. So let's do this marker of tomorrow, February, full moon, the 10th, with the eclipse at the 22-degree mark, which is the master number of building foundations. 22 is the master builder in numerology. So we've got the sun and moon at 22 degrees in the signs of, can we create a master building where we can put in the part of ourselves that doesn't fit in with tandem and harmony with the part of ourselves that says, it's okay, come with me. So what part of you, I wish I could see, Carrie's got the visuals. What part of you do you reject? So I talk too much. I don't talk enough. I'm too quiet. I'm too friendly. I'm too alone. I'm too in relationship. I've got too many kids. I don't have any kids. I don't like my job. I don't have enough money. I have too much money. I'm too fat. I'm too thin. Oy, the human dilemma. Something's wrong. I don't think anything's wrong here, by the way. I think we're actually a very sweet species who's evolving at the speed of light. So let me go through this with you. I'm going to tell you right now, this is our conversation today, that in order for you to evolve, that's the whole point of my conversation. Aquarius is breaking new ground. It's forcing us to destroy the government. Donald Trump has Uranus, the planet that rules Aquarius, on his head. He's here to destroy the structure of the government. That's your Aquarius. That's what we want, a revolution. But the Leo comforts of what feels good and what's safe and what's secure and what guarantees our family. Leos just are so bound to wanting nothing more than their families, the ones they love, to be fully protected. They don't want anyone else. They just want those people. That split is so present. And it's now our turn as the Aquarians to say over to that part of ourselves, can we do this kindly? Can we accept that we're in change and we're having a death of an old structure, Aquarius, but don't do it in a mean way. Don't break the thing. I keep wanting to go over to Trump and just say, I really do. I want to say, I want to get to know you. Can I do your chart? I want to understand. I would have done the same thing, and don't take this the wrong way. With Hitler, I'm not comparing Trump to Hitler. I know people are, but in my viewpoint, Alice Bailey, the esoteric law, predicted that Hitler was coming. They saw it in their dreams. Carl Jung knew and left Germany because he knew he was coming by the collective movements that were indicating through people's dreams. We knew Trump was coming. He came in my dream. And I know it's a seemingly destructive process, and it is, and it really hurts. My Leo is so upset. And my Aquarius is so excited because we're in such a big change. So if I could go sit down with him and say, can I describe for you the evolution of consciousness, Donald? And that we have to destroy ourselves in order to come together. But in order to do so, we can't throw the baby in the bathwater out, both of them. We're not going to abandon all the Democrats, nor are we going to abandon all the Republicans. We've got to create a bridge between these two camps. Maybe you could do that in your mind's eye. I imagine talking to him. So let's start with the first card. We're going to go through we're just going to go through in the tarot deck. I'm going to use my favorite, just the beginning. How can I get to the bottom of this card? Here we go. I'm having a problem here, a technical problem. There we go. I'm going to do the first 4 tarot cards, really 5, because 1 is 0, to show you the evolution of consciousness. Okay, ready? Bring your attention back. I had a little brain burp. I'm back. So the first card of the tarot deck is the 0 card. It's called the Fool. And it is, in fact, Uranus. It does rule Aquarius indirectly. And the Fool jumps over the edge of the universe. He has a little backpack on his stick, a little bag on a stick. He has a little dog at his feet, and he's taking the risk of incarnating. He's taking the crazy leap said the fool, to jump into the human experience, take on a body, take on a name, take on a chart, and enter this reality where you have no instruction manual. It seems totally chaotic, except with the pretense that your parents have your back. Well, that was pretending. Because did they have your back? Kind of, not really. Does God have your back? Yes, but not according to your ego. Everything comes in to rock and roll and shatter our world to keep stretching our evolution. And only a fool would jump over the cliff into a physical incarnation with the enthusiasm to say, yeah, take me on. So all of you listening, how many do we have, Carrie?
Almost 70.
It's going to grow by the end of tomorrow. These things get boosted and everybody watches. All of you watching right now, you incarnated by a physical choice at the unconscious level. Somewhere you signed some contract, and your chart gives me, the astrologer, and all my students information about what you signed up for. You are a fool. We're all goofy to come into this planet. It's ridiculous. It's poorly organized. There's no manual. There's no mission statement. There's not even a team that has your back that you can see. They're invisible. Who made that up? Jeez. And they don't even give you permission to believe in the invisible, except the Aquarians do. And the Leo goes, give me the proof. I want evidence. Show me how I'm safe. All right, we've got the Fool card. Jumped over a cliff, incarnated, took the innocent route, trusted completely the impulse that Spirit said, we're going to give you every lesson you need to learn. Here's what you've signed up for. You didn't choose your parents. I hate that story. You think you chose your parents? You think I would have said, no. They showed me all these little Jewish families in Detroit, and they said to me, which ones of these do you want? I was like, that's my choice? Uh-oh. Because I knew I was coming in Jewish, and I knew I was going to come in through Detroit, and I knew I was going to come in through my dad, who had some karma with my mom, and they signed me up. And now I love you, Mom. She's dead. I hate saying mean things about her. The point of that story is you incarnate with an entire Akashic record by the side of your soul that signs something with a promise that's in your chart that I'm here to help you while you studying just level 1 in my class, just the 6-week class. And you're going to get the download so quickly about what was the promise that you made, because you did not get pushed on the bus. You volunteered for this job. You might think you were an accident. You might think that your parents, that was all part of the karma. And if you read in my book, The Missing Element, the job is to turn your observer on and say, what is the story that keeps following me around? What's the repetitive story? Fool. It's a fool. You're an idiot. I'm an idiot. It sounds bad, but you sign up to come down here, and it's so heartbreaking. Every one of us gets our heart broken. Every one of us gets our body broken. Every one of us has a kid that leaves the house that you loved, and you nurse them and you feed them and you love these children, and then they go away. Who made that up? Or you fall in love with somebody, and you're really, how many of you are falling in love? I love when my clients call me, they're falling in love. And then I talk to the next client, and they're getting divorced. To the person that 25 years ago was so much their soulmate, and now they can't even talk. That's the nature of the beast, and there's nothing wrong. But let's be honest, you have to be a fool to jump in. So what do you do? Step number 2. Ready? The next card is the Magician. You land in this body, and on the Magician card in the Tarot deck, there are 4 elements sitting on the card. This is my book, The Missing Element. Water, air, earth, and fire. The Magician realizes as soon as he incarnates, oh my, the powerful creative tools that exist in the human condition are these 4 elements. And if you master all 4 of them, like 4 wheels in a car, you're going to have a vehicle that drives through life. If one of those 4 wheels is down, the whole thing goes off, and you spend a lifetime spinning your wheels, not knowing why you keep going in circles. I have a lot of compassion for people that go in circles. I know I probably had like 30 lifetimes before I got to this one. And I probably did. I had the strongest feeling that I didn't have families in my past lives. I feel like I was so many times that I was an orphan, and that I had different beings like that showed up, a mom or a dad or a best friend or a soulmate. But it was more about me experiencing the abandonment. It's going to make me want to cry, of incarnating and leaving the one to come here and feel so disconnected, to see if I could stay in love with the one, to see if I would abandon my spiritual faith, even though I couldn't see them anymore. And I knew that I was here in service to the evolution of species, of the consciousness. By taking on the Magician's role, I have now studied the 4 elements. And throughout those incarnations, I spoke yesterday about esoteric laws and the levels of evolution and the ways that we learn, you guys, how we learn down here It's by getting it wrong. Like you have to, I don't know why they made this up, but in order to get it right, you have to get it wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong. And then you get it right. And then you become a teacher. But the way that we learn is through crisis. We learn our lessons through pain. Why can't I talk to that phone number? I keep calling 1-800-GOD. They never answer, or else it's busy. They've never answered the phone. And I know when they see me coming, when I get to the other side, they're going to go, oh, not her. Because I can't figure out, why do we have to learn our lessons from the pain? Why couldn't they send us a memo? Like a little email or H-mail, heaven mail, and it said, honey, you're about to end this relationship, or honey, you're about to fall in love, get ready, or honey, your kid's about to leave home, be prepared, like just a little memo. Yeah, no. For some reason, that's what I'm telling you. You have to be a fool to come down here. So then you get to be the magician and you land and you learn the four. That's what you're doing with me. I'm inviting you to be a magician. You can learn how, I'm making this thing jump up and down. You can learn how to use the elements of your personality in service to what it was you came to do. So if it's water, just quickly, if it's water, you came to be a healer by being super sensitive and crying and feeling compassion and wanting to push away and not wanting to be around people. That's okay, as long as you know how to meditate. And when you're alone, you put out, you're not drinking or playing video games or smoking or hiding out. You're actually finding some part of your day where you sanctify it and you do your prayers. Every day I do my prayers. I mean, why else are we here if it's not to serve that which created us? Why are we here? Ask yourself. It's astrology. It's because there's a design that is so magical and you're in it. Now, I'm giving you new thoughts that seem to me so obvious, but I want you to really consider, are you fulfilling your promise? Is the magician and you a tandem team? Do you know what element is missing? Can you figure it out? Okay. If you can take that single step, the fool jumped in. You didn't really choose that. That's why it's 0. That was an unconscious. I mean, yes, your soul picked it, but your conscious mind was like, what did I pick? You come in, now you're like, uh-oh, I got to learn these 4 skills, water, air, earth, and fire. Water is the emotional person that's going to spend time alone and feel guilt-free and meditate. Air is the person that's going to use words to heal, words to stimulate thoughts, to ask really good questions, not to be opinionated, but to tease, to bring people out of themselves. And earth people, you're here to work and clean and fix and really be in service to people. And fire, you guys are here to get us all excited and to party and to play and entertain us and put the music on and dress up and give us your little turquoise earrings and really do your thing. But if you don't master all 4 of them, whoop. Okay. So card number 1 was the magician. You land in a body and you're handed these 4 elements and they're sitting on a table and you master the 4 elements and you read my book. I swear to God, that's going to help you. Cross my heart. Then comes the high priestess. I love this. Card number 2. First came the magician. Get ready for the elements. I love that they started with my favorite thing. Then came card number 2. This is the high priestess. She says what I just talked about. Start your day with a prayer. I wish you could see. I have my candle. I have my incense. I put on my smells. I did my prayers today. I know who I work for. I know the planet is desperate right now for the priestess to be reinvited into the mainstream. She hid out in chambers behind the scenes. She lived in the king's chambers where she wasn't allowed. In fact, it wasn't even the king. It was the women. If you read the Myths of Avalon, the women encircled themselves and they didn't know how to come out to public, but now they can. Right here, a woman, a witch, a white witch who's an astrologer, who has a hat on her head you can't see, a big hat with stars all over it. And now I can come out in public because the magician gave me the skills of how to master the 4 elements. And now the high priestess says, do your prayers. Go inside. Sanctify the day. Never forget who you work for. The high priestess knows exactly what she's here to do, and that is to serve in the temples. Think of Egypt. Think of how astrology got here, you guys. It's ancient. I wish I could, right now, everybody close their eyes and we all were inside the temples in Egypt. And we were standing in front of the pyramids. And we all went, there's going to be a future, some thousands of years ahead of us, where people will be on side of a computer, looking inside of a little green dot. And they're going to speak about stars and planets. And there'll be hundreds of thousands of people that will listen to it. And they'll all get awakened and remember us, the Egyptians. And we'll start time traveling. That's what we're doing right now, you guys. We're time traveling. You study astrology and something gets spurred inside of your head, and suddenly you remember. There was a time we all knew how to lie down during an eclipse like tomorrow and pray and be in the high priestess's temple that was outside on the lawn. They didn't have lawns then. And we knew how to sit in circle together and chant. And we knew how to do our prayers and make magic happen. Okay, then this is so cool. So after the high priestess, which is feminine, I want you to note, the fool is an androgynous creature. Aquarians, that's the full moon tomorrow. They really don't have a gender. They really don't care about right and wrong. It's the normal standard. They make up their own. Then came the magician. He was like, look, I don't care about right and wrong. I don't care about sex. I care about you mastering these 4 elements so you can do this physical plane. Then came the high priestess. She was like, please promise me you'll pray every day, that no matter what you do, what happens this lifetime, you'll remember to say thank you. You'll remember to call on the invisible spirits. You won't underestimate the power of the invisible. All of you have guides. All of you have angels watching you. All of you have guardians. I swear it's true. I wish I could see them. That's the high priestess. It was number 2, the second card. And by the way, that's the moon. The magician is Mercury. It's the magician taught us how to use our mind with those 4 elements. The mental body, once it's under the domain of the soul's thought process, which is the mastery of the physical plane, you can do anything, said the magician. That's what they call magic. Then the high priestess is the moon. She goes inside and she goes into the dark in the night and she goes into silence and she does her prayers with her eyes closed. That's the moon. It's the dark part. And then comes the empress. Now we're into Venus. The empress is the 3rd card, number 3. So now you enter the court and she's sitting on this throne, the empress. And she has this abundance. There's pomegranates. I don't know why pomegranates, but in Egypt, I think that was like the symbol of fertility. And you start to feel very worthy. This is the opposite of what happens to many of us after we incarnate and we come into these dysfunctional families, and the imprint gets put. Every one of you are suffering from a low self-esteem. Every single person in this room, every person watching on Facebook. We don't have enough identity as a soul that goes, I love being me. I'm so unique, said the astrologer. And I'm so sincere in wanting to incarnate. I did not get pushed in the bus, you guys. For so many years, I felt like I got pushed in the bus. I think back to my childhood and I just feel like, wow. It's like, I sometimes think I didn't really understand what I signed up for. And then I got here and my parents were so broken and my friends were so sweet. But then by the time I turned 14, the beginning of my karma began, and all the friends that I had, because I was a little popular Debbie Silverman, but I wouldn't do drugs. It was such an interesting story. And they were all, this was like, in the time, the early 70s, and they were all doing everything. I remember from like mescaline to, what's that called? Quaaludes. And I never did any of it, to LSD, which I did later. But I was too scared at the time. And so everyone alienated themselves from me. Where I was once popular, I became unpopular. And that was the entrance of my deep wound that was put in place throughout this lifetime. And I had to heal it. And now I can say to you, I don't need to have anyone be my friend that's not my friend. And I found my tribe, and you're my tribe. And when you play with me in astrology, when you play with me in my class in the school that I hope grows till it becomes a giant tribe and community, you're going to find people just like me, who are authentic and interested and spiritually evolved, and they have the high priestess sitting next to them and the magician on the right of them, and they enter the empress, and she's sitting in the court, and she's got her beautiful acceptance of herself, and she feels like she deserves. So just repeat after me. I deserve to have a good life. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be abundant. I deserve to enjoy the sweet, delicious nectars of this life. I deserve to enjoy the sweet, delicious nectars of this life. It could be as simple as a glass of wine or as complicated as a gourmet dinner. You deserve to enjoy and go, the empress. If the empress has the high priestess and she prayed before her meal, it becomes sanctified. But if we're in a fast food store walking down New York City, and we open up the store and we gobble down the drink and we drink the Coca-Cola and we eat the French fries that aren't even French fries, we've lost the sanctification of the high priestess and her remembrance of the astrology and the magic of this world. Isn't it fun, my job? Okay, so that takes us to the empress. You feel deserving. I deserve to enjoy the sweet nectars of this life and indulge myself with sweet pleasure. I should show you what I'm eating. Then comes, ready? And this is our last card. Now comes the emperor. And he is the male, which we have completely as women. And I bet how many of you in this room are women? Like, really, Carrie, you want to ask that question and watch Facebook Live? Go me, 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 me. There's so many women because the emperor has not yet shown up in his male form. It's our sons. It's the next generation of men that will not display the macho, old school, chauvinistic version of misogyny. It's going to go, and we're at the tail end. But the emperor is the last step of our conversation today. And he says, let me give you full protection. Let me take care of you. And in this full moon, let's say he represents the Leo. I've got it, honey. I'm the king. I'm holding court. And the Aquarius is the fool, me, saying, excuse me, king, can we talk about astrology today in court? Can we dance and sing and encourage people to be themselves and maybe take our clothes off and scream and yell? Or how about you take off your clothes and then we can say, oh, look, he has balls or not. But if we don't have the freedom to tell the emperor we need something changed up in the system, we'll have to rock it and roll it and shake it up. And that's what's going on. And this full moon and this eclipse is our opportunity to say to the emperor inside of you, I want to change. I'm willing to change. There's behaviors of mine I need to change. And you know what they are. And astrology helps you identify what is the part of your personality that needs some change? Listen, none of you are going to quit your addictions forever. Some of you might. I wouldn't say none. Some of you will quit drinking forever. Some of you will learn about your diet and you'll lose your weight and you'll gain it back and you'll lose it again. Some of you will get really inspired to study astrology with me and for the first 2 years and then you'll fall off and stop doing it. Some of you are going to find yourselves captured by astrology and like me, after 40 years, be addicted to it. I had the best sessions this morning, every single day. My emperor and I take heed of my court and my kingdom and my responsibility to be a great leader. And I turn to the empress who feels so deserving that I want to work for her, who's sitting next to the high priestess who said to her, let's pray before we start our day, who's sitting next to the magician who's whispering to the high priestess, here's the formula for today. I got this. And there, dancing around the whole court, is the fool, tickling everybody, taking off his clothes, making funny sounds and saying things like, I don't know. I just tried to make up what a fool would do. That kind of tickled me. Okay, I've just done 1/2 hour to tell all of you on Facebook Live that I am starting and about to close an astrology class. We're starting at February 20th, but the cart closes February 14th. That astrology class is, to some of you, going to seem expensive. I'm going to hear that comment. It is, but there's no greater investment than you getting to know what your high priestess wants you to learn. You already jumped in, the fool. You're here. The magician's trying to give you some skills, and the high priestess wants you to go into prayer and start studying the stars. Go look at the priestess card. She has stars all over her head. Okay, how did we do there, Carrie? The prophet joined. I'm so glad you're here. We have all kinds of cool people in this room, and you're welcome to be here, and you're welcome to be part of the tribe. And there's a big giant circle of us right now who are desperate to change the governor, better known as the emperor, not the governor of the outer world, but the governor of your inner world, who says, here's what he says: take care of your emotional body, water. Know that you're safe, air. Communicate honestly to people and journal and talk to yourself. Earth, go get a job. Be valuable, make money, serve people. Do not be lazy. It's a real loophole. And then don't work too much or get extremely committed because you think you need to make money. And then fire, make sure you're having sex and or you're dancing and or you're singing and or you're doing all those at the same time. That was the short version of how to get to enlightenment. Emotional clarity and prayers, telling the truth, making sure you're service-oriented and you're working and giving every day to somebody. Clean up your dishes. I promise that will help. And last but not least, make sure you're having fun. Okay, thanks, Carrie. How come I can't hear you, Carrie? The link is in the comments. I'll close it when you end. You have a lot to say. You're a Gemini. The full moon is coming tomorrow afternoon. We are in the midst of it. I'm going to do a prayer for all of you. If you would just send a prayer to my friend who's trying to come back into her body. Yeah, just think of a beautiful blonde yogini who's in her 60s. I don't want to use her name to protect her privacy, but I just want you to think of a woman that is suddenly feeling a warm breeze around her right now because there's 100 million people all sending her love. Prayers, and anyone else that you know that needs prayers right now, let's put them into our field. Let's do a prayer. May all beings know what it is to be healthy and loved and safe, and remember that you're not alone. You're here for a reason, and it's your job to unravel the mystery so that you can be in service, because the only reason we're here on this planet, the one reason, is to give. The same way the earth gives to us, we want to give back to her. So thank you for being here on this full moon sacred time where your unique wild self is supported by your kingdom, your king and queen, who honor both sides, because you just made a bridge today by learning this information and taking responsibility. You're going to allow this planet to change and come back to where it's meant to be. We're just turning a corner. It's a dark phase of the moon. We're going to come out of this, I promise.